Hello barbecue warriors, I'm Mr. Spork and these are Mr. Spork's hands. Lots of summer barbecues going on right now. That means lots of summer barbecue side dishes. Everything from baked beans to potato salads of all different kind of makes and models to Mexican street corn. But up here it's kind of like the plains of Discworld in that we've got tons and tons of cabbage, and that means coleslaw. I have made coleslaw like this for years and years. It's so insanely simple. I don't know why people still buy those ready-made tubs at the grocery store, but the key with making any kind of coleslaw is balance. Not only balance in the veg, but balance in the dressing that you make on the side. But no matter what, you got to prep the veg. I'm going to start in my food processor. I've tried every other device. I've tried shredding it, I've tried hand cutting it, I've tried dicing it, all kinds of stuff. Food processor with a plain old cutting blade works best. A couple cloves of garlic go in first, and I'm going to go ahead and throw in my carrot, just a little bit of carrot for color, and my onion. Let's give that a quick whir. Don't have to go all the way. I'm doing about half of a head of cabbage here, and this recipe easily scales up. It's really just kind of down to how much you can work through your processor at one time. But as always with the food processor, you got to understand the power of the thing so you don't turn it into mush. So lots of pulses till you get to the texture that you're after. And that is almost exactly what I want for a texture on my salad. I've got the garlic, the onion, the carrot, and the cabbage already worked in there. Let's set this in the fridge to chill while I make the dressing. So when I make my dressing, I'm like a lot of folks. I started life on KFC, Kentucky Fried Chicken coleslaw. So I like a little sour and a little sweet at the same time, but I have made this my own over time. I like to think of four components. There's the sweet, there's the sour, there's the creamy, and then there's the pop. So let's start with the sour part, which is the acid. You can use lemon juice, you can use cider vinegar, you can use even plain old white vinegar, but for half a head of cabbage, I'm going to use about a quarter cup of acid, a mix or any one of those. But what I've done, I've gone and heated it in the microwave for just a few seconds because I want a little bit of warmth to help me dissolve the sweet part. And the sweet is the same volume, about a quarter cup of sugar, and I want that sugar to really dissolve down, hence the warmed vinegar. Pardon the noise there. Now we got to get just a little bit of salt in there for flavor. I'm going to go with, this is a quarter teaspoon here. Again, we're working for half a head of cabbage. I'm going to use, because I like it, a little bit of red chili flakes, another quarter teaspoon of that in there, I think. Then what we want to do is go with the pop, and for me the pop is a secret ingredient. This is homemade, homegrown ground horseradish. I shred it, grate it I should say, and then I put a little bit of vinegar and salt in it, let it sit for a day in the fridge. But this is about 2 tablespoons of freshly ground, freshly grated, freshly prepared horseradish from my own garden. That's really a big pop. If you don't have horseradish, don't worry about it. You can certainly grow it yourself easy, but if you can't buy it in the grocery store, can't buy it ready-made, you can go and get yourself some wasabi powder, because in North America, almost all the quote-unquote wasabi is actually, if you read the ingredients, it's horseradish and mustard powder with a little bit of food coloring in there. If that isn't in your cabinet, you can actually use a little bit of good old-fashioned Coleman's mustard. That will also give you a pop. I'd say about a teaspoon of either one of those will work pretty well. But I've got the horseradish, so that's what I'm using. Also need, for the creamy part, just a little bit of my homemade mayo. I'm going to say that's a pretty healthy teaspoon, or excuse me, healthy tablespoon in there. And because I like a little bit more creamy, I'm just going to put in just a quick splash. That's what, 2 tablespoons at most of cream. If you've got buttermilk, some people do that. I think a lot of people say that buttermilk is in the original KFC recipe. But the main thing is to get this all dissolved nice and evenly. Now let me go grab that cabbage mix. And that is about the right ratio. I have to stress that all of these measurements are really to personal preference. If you like yours a little more tart, a little more sweet, go nuts with it. Make it your own, really. Count to 30 while you're doing this. I want to make sure that this gets really well mixed. And that is ready to eat right now, but it will only get better over the next couple hours. This is speed coleslaw for your barbecue. I hope you do make a batch. I hope you stop buying the stuff from the grocery store. If you want to print out this recipe for yourself, go up to my website, click on that link in the corner, and it will get you there with all kinds of recipes from up here in Canada. And if you haven't, please do subscribe to the channel, because that's what lets me keep doing this for you guys. Until next time, I'm Mr. Spork. These are Mr. Spork's hands. Now, I got barbecue on the grill to go with this coleslaw.